Award season is coming up, and while it's nice having more fuel for our petty arguments over whose favourite game is better, we all know that this year there's one undisputed winner. Flute Guy. I love Flute Guy, and considering how exponential the growth has been of his instruments, 2025 is going to be a hell of a show. I'm Ash Dixon, and this is GINX News. Right, I have some sad news, guys. Originally, this was a 10-minute script on the life and times of Flute Guy. After all, I have a profound love for anyone that does anything like their life depends on it. It had sit-down interviews, dramatic recreations. It was basically Whiplash, but better. But then I came in this morning and I had to throw it all out after reading some rather dramatic news. DLC, remakes, and remasters will all be eligible for Game of the Year at the Game Awards this year. And I know what you're thinking. Boy, the Battlefront Classic Collection is about to drown in trophies. Now don't get me wrong, I'm all for celebrating fantastic expansions, but Game of the Year? Imagine being a dev who's poured your heart and soul into something and then you lose out to a game that originally came out like 3 years ago. And look, I know this year hasn't had a load of absolute belters like 2023, but then again, maybe it's going to be nice that we aren't going to have games like Baldur's Gate 3 just sweep all of the awards. Ugh, look at Larian winning everything. But you know what they say, go woke, go goat. But I don't know, it still feels like we've had enough great titles this year that we don't have to open it up to DLC. Astrobot was delightful, Like a Dragon was hilarious. You've got great indie titles too, like Animal Well and Balatro. Hell, let's make Prince of Persia The Lost Crown Game of the Year, purely as a middle finger to Ubisoft. All of those are deserving winners in my opinion, so it would be a bit of a joke if Shadow of the Erdtree came along and took the crown, especially as Elden Ring already won Game of the Year back in 2022. Yeah, it's fantastic, but even depriving those other games of a nomination is pretty insulting. In fact, the whole thing gets even more absurd when you read the statement on the website. It reads, expansion packs, new game seasons, DLCs, remakes, and remasters are eligible in all categories. Excuse me? New game seasons? Sorry man, I know you created your whole engine from scratch, but they added Peter Griffin to Fortnite, so tough luck. I mean, they already have a category for best ongoing game. Yeah, it's super unlikely a game season would win, let alone be nominated, but that just adds to the bewildering decision to even include them in the first place. The only thing I think you could justify for Game of the Year here is remakes, but even then not all remakes are created equal. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth getting nominated? Sure, they've changed and added so much stuff that it's pretty much a whole new game at this point. I wouldn't even be mad at the Silent Hill 2 remake being nominated. That's far more reminiscent of the original game, but if we're judging games on the amount of P released while playing, well then I think we have a winner. And speaking of piss, I have a wee request. Why not subscribe to this channel? We release these gaming news videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and in terms of quality, we aim to be #1. Yeah, I know, weird plug, but that guaranteed us at least one new subscriber. Back to the Game Awards, and remasters being included is also downright silly, especially because most remasters aren't even that old. Either way, the nominations for this year are set to be announced around an hour before this video is published. So considering this update, let's make some predictions, shall we? I think it's safe to assume that both Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Shadow of the Erdtree have been nominated. I bet my boy SHEEPY has been snubbed though. It's okay, baby. Your Game of the Year in my eyes. No, seriously though, go check out SHEEPY. It's like a free 30-minute platformer and it's just a piece of art. Ultimately, I feel like the best solution would be new categories. Best DLC/expansion or best remake/remaster. Done. Yeah, Jeff Keighley would fire through them faster than that verse in Rap God, but that's the Game Awards. Those sponsors pay big money for a good time, and we know how Keighley is more than happy to get on his kneelies. But then again, I'm still probably gonna watch. I quite enjoy watching a man wrap his mouth around a pipe. Obviously, I'm talking about Flute Guy. Woo, yeah! Let's go!